that's quite fascinating here. So we got entry long, or you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Or. And what we need to do, yeah, thanks for that. And what we need to do is put this in brackets, right? So it's actually, this is its own condition and this is its own condition. And we want to separate them. And there you go. Now we've got heaps more. Okay, and then let's see what the P&L is. Well, still, it's a little bit better, but it's still not great, right?
Yeah.
So we're definitely seeing that that's not necessarily a good thing. Yeah, we could now try something else, do 1%, and then we'll probably go a little bit better. But look, we're not getting anywhere near as good. Oh yeah, there's another problem. What's the other problem that we're seeing here when we do this? So now we're basically doing the right things, right? We're going in, we're exiting, but we're still seeing these big drops. Why? What's wrong with our code here? I tell you what the problem is. So when we do this, right, and we exit, and then we get to the new condition here, or we get to the next round, it says, oh, impulse equals 0. And we're straight away getting into a new trade. Like, you know, we're exiting the trade, we're getting right into the next one, right into the next one. Right? That's a big problem here. So we're basically never actually, you know, we're keeping up this loop, no matter what we do. What could we do to mitigate that? Could we do to prevent that from happening? Do you understand what happens? Like we're basically closing this position, and then in the next cycle we're opening another one straight away, and then we're closing it again, opening and closing.
So if I understand it right, like what you're saying is kind of when it goes down, we're kind of like, okay, we go to this 1%, we say, okay, it's the 1%, go out. But then what we do is we go in again because it's still going down, and we go in again and so on, right? So
because what we actually want to do is we want to actually only get in when there's a crossover, correct?
Yeah.
So how do we do that? I tell you.
Yeah.
It's tricky stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can do an MA -1. So that's basically the moving average from the previous time step. Yeah. So we copy this and we go I minus 201. I minus 1. Yeah. So that's basically the previous moving average. Yeah. And so what we can do is we can say if MA -1 is less, and price is basically SPY.close. So it's basically less than the previous price, SPY.close dot I log of I -1. Yeah. And so what we're basically saying with this is that the previous average is below the close price and the current average is above, meaning that we had a cross. Yeah. And so this only enters when we get a new cross.
That makes sense.
And not every time. We could effectively do the same here as well, but here we don't really need to, because we're already like at 0, right? And then we go. But here, because we're having this other condition that is effectively this profit take thing. Let's go back to 2%. We want to make sure that this is not we want to make sure that this is actually not going into an eternal doom loop here.
Yeah.
So let's run this. You can see we have no shorts. There's probably something not quite right yet.
Is it due to the else if?
we'll have a quick look. See what you can already see is, oh look,
Now we
we've
have
got
some shorts.
yes. What you can see is it's actually kind of subtle a lot of the time. Oh yeah, there we go. So now
Nice.
we've got the shorts. And what you can see is here that actually we're a little bit, I think we're actually made a tiny little bit of money with the shorts. So we actually get a little bit better. So let's say we could just try a few things. We could just move it to 1% and then see what happens. And there you go. It actually goes down a little. See this less. So what we're doing here when we start playing with parameters is a process called overfitting. Oh, there you go. See here we make even a bit more money. But the problem is when I do this, and I sit there and change the parameters all the time, what I'm actually doing is I'm looking back and I'm looking, oh, what would have worked the best in the past?
Yeah.
But just because our backtest looks good doesn't mean it's gonna work anywhere near as good in the future, right?
Yeah.
So it's called overfitting. So that's indeed a problem. But I just wanna before we go into this, we're gonna talk about this quite a bit. But let's just run the long only again and compare it to what we've seen here, just for a brief understanding. And see, what we actually see is the drawdowns are a lot less in our new algo, yeah?
Yeah.
Our long short. And so what it does is it doesn't significantly add to the P&L. See, so it does add a little bit. Let's just plot a grid with here, plt.grid. So you can see we go to 90% approximately here, yeah? And so if we do this and we comment this in, see we're at 100%. Right? It's at 10% more. That's a good solid improvement. Okay. So that's something. Now there's a few things we can do with this, and I just want to double check whether you've actually understood what we've been doing here and what was going on. Does that make sense to you? So the way we structured this trading algorithm in general, why did we do the short exit as we did, and so on? I just want to recap that. We started with a trend following strategy, right? And then we actually found that we made a mistake and we implemented a buy the dip strategy. But we can't just do trend following and buy the dip at the same time because it just doesn't, it adds up just trade like buying and holding. So especially when they're exactly the same. So what we did is we changed our short side a little bit because the short side, it makes sense that when the moving average crosses through the other direction, that it actually we're in a downtrend. But if we wait until it reverses again and crosses the other moving average, we're actually losing money. So the way we can make money, for example, is if we don't wait as long and we're taking profit on the short side.